first guest is Ashid Ali, who is the founder and principal at London Enterprise Academy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm good, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So tell me a little bit about your journey from Bangladesh to the UK, because I understand, of course, you moved to the UK at the age of 8. So what was that like?
It was always a dream to go on an aeroplane. We thought it might happen, it might not happen, and now we are flying several times a year, which is quite exciting.
Alhamdulillah.
But growing up in Oldham in the 1980s was tough.
Of course.
It was tough. We don't know the language, we live in an overcrowding situation. Our parents are telling us we're here for a few years, we're going to go back.
Yes.
It's a temporary stay. The racism, the low expectation from schools, and the idea that you can set up a restaurant and make quick money and build a nice basha in Bangladesh was the dream. But we had different ideas, we had different perception. And at the age of 15, I was home alone for 9 months, just to make sure I can do my GCSEs.
Alhamdulillah. So when you talk about being at home at the age of course, 15, it's not an easy job being at home alone and trying to do your GCSEs. So how did you sort of cope with cleaning, cooking? Who helped you?
It was tough. I had to have a part-time job as well to pay the bills because my parents left me enough money for 6 weeks and they didn't come back after 6 weeks.
Oh my God, were they in Bangladesh?
Everyone was in Bangladesh for 9 months. And it was quite scary because in these days you didn't have mobile phone communication in villages.
No, of course.
You don't know whether they'll come back or not. You don't know how they're doing. You send a letter, it comes back 3 months later and you hope that they're okay. So it was a challenge. And I learned to cook, I learned to clean, I looked after myself and spend the day with friends in the house. And in the evening, sometimes I tried to cry because there's a lot of uncertainty.
Well, alhamdulillah, because of that journey, of course, it's led to who you are today. So you finished your GCSEs. So then I understand that, of course, you work in education, that whole field. So what led you to, you know what, I want to go to education, I want to further that sort of in that field. What made you want to
education was never a dream. A sixth form college opened new, said, oh, we'll take you.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not going to get the grades, but they needed students.
Of course.
That opened the doors for us because our school did not believe in us. The college did. And then that gave us hope that we can go to university.
Sorry, just to touch upon that, because you've said the school didn't believe in you. And I think I struggled.
It still happens.
It does happen. And I myself, I think when I was in school, I was talking about it with one of my friends earlier today. I struggled with that. So how did you overcome that sort of, I don't trust in you, how can I move forward from that?
We had teachers who were nice.
Yes.
They had low expectation.
Of course.
They didn't get paid based on performance.
No.
They didn't care if you passed or failed. You are a son of an immigrant whose parents don't speak English. English is your second, third language. You go home, you spend 2 hours in Arabic every evening. So if you passed or not, they didn't care. Okay. Whereas we had to motivate ourselves that there could be a better life out there if you go to college and university.
Yes.
And I was the first in my family to go to university.
Alhamdulillah.
I feel that having gone there, my brother went to university, my 2 sisters went to university, one's a doctor, one's in the legal field. And now, it's an expectation that everybody from my family goes to university. I've already got, a niece and 2 nephews who's graduated. I've got 2 or 3 more at university now.
You
from
carried that beacon of hope.
Yeah, and my 2 sons are at university. So that becomes an expectation. So one of the things that over the last 25 years I've said to parents is try and get your first child into university. If you can't, get the second one in. It opens doors. It gives you a passport to a better life.
Of course. And moving on from that, of course, you then went to find the London Enterprise Academy. How did you do that? What was the thinking behind it?
So, I have failed in life several times and I was interviewed for a head teacher job in Blackburn of a new secondary school under the free school program. And I felt disappointed because I didn't think it was a fair interview. I thought I was the best candidate by far, but politically the decision they made, it ticked a lot of boxes for that organization, which was a Muslim organization setting up schools, and they've now grown massively. So I looked at those directors, I thought if they can open a school, they can lead a school. I've got far more experience than them. I'm going to create a team and I'm going to open a school in London. And there you go.
And of course, London is no joke. It's big.
It's tough.
And of course,
finding building is hard. Trying to convince parents, especially in Tower Hamlets, that,
not easy job.
Walking around in a suit saying, "I'm going to open a school. Trust me with your child," and they think, "Oh, this guy took my money to send to Bangladesh. He ran away with it. These guys took my money for Hajj, ran away with it, and you're going to take my child's details, promise them a school. It's not going to happen, and then I could end up with no school for my child." So giving confidence to that community was really tough.
Yeah.
But I had a team behind me who worked really hard to make sure it happened.
So what was the thought process in finding this team? Like, how did you select members of that team for yourself?
No, we wanted a diverse team. Initially, I took 3 Bengali men in suit. Right, I was probably the least, qualified in that team. But the Department of Education told us to get lost. I had an actuary, I had a chartered accountant, trained to PwC, but they didn't like the team. So I thought, okay, you want to play games? I'll play games. I'll put a white academic. I'll put a white teacher. I'll put 2 females.
You brought
in that
the game
team,
to them,
right?
yep.
And then I take it to you. Who did the 90% of the talking? I did. They saw a team, tick boxes. We can trust you with the government's money. Go and open a school.
Okay. So since you've opened the school now, what's the journey been like? How do you enjoy it?
It's one of the best things I've done. It's been 10 years now. This is our 10th year, so we've got a celebration coming.
Congratulations.
In 3 weeks' time. And initially it was tough doing the marketing campaign. Are they going to be successful? Will they hire good teachers? Will people trust me to send their children? And will teachers trust me with their careers? So it was a big challenge to overcome. And the finding a building in Whitechapel, Tower Hamlets was hard. We've got a office block from a bank converted into a school. And when you plant a seed, it takes months and months and months for it to grow, sometimes years to see the fruit. So we've seen, dozens of graduates who come out this year. That's our first batch.
Oh,
so we're going to celebrate with them.
Yes.
And, many of them have gone to top universities, your Imperial, King's, UCL, and including Oxbridge. So again, when parents and the community sees this, they'll think, okay, that's an option for my child.
No, and I mean, of course, because I've seen London Enterprise all around, Enterprise Academy all around, of course, Tower Hamlets, and I've heard from it from other parents as well. And of course, it's a great achievement on its own to be running for 10 years. That being said, of course, you've said there's been difficulties, like challenges that you've come across, but you've had a great team, and that's great. But personally, how do you overcome them? Like, is it resilience? Is it perseverance? What's the key to overcoming these challenges?
Look, if the more you think about the problem,
you're
not going to get solutions. You have to find solutions. You have to look for solutions, and you have to be forward thinking.
Yes.
And I've had lots of challenges, and some of them have been our own making. Some of them are external forces, and there's only so many battles you can battle at any one time. And one of the things I will say, people might say, "Oh, you would say that." There is institutional racism.
Of course.
We've seen it in the police,
Agree.
we've seen it in the legal fields, we've seen it in the NHS, it happens in education as well. And, to overcome that part, you've got people who sit with you, smile at you, talk to you, and then stab you at the back. Because they'll write to the right people that they know who can do a job for you to make your life difficult, to make your journey difficult. So to be under external scrutiny, whether it's from Ofsted or for auditors, it's an extra burden that I didn't need. No. But I've learned to overcome this. I've learned to hire people that can come in and do some troubleshooting when I need it, so that I can focus on what I'm trying to do, which is lead education.
Of course. And that being said, the whole idea, of course, having this the academy, what should students look for when choosing a school? Or what's the key sort of questions they should ask when they're joining?
Right, it's students and parents. First thing is safety. Right? Is my child going to be safe?
Yes.
Right. Then what does the school offer? Okay. Every school offers GCSEs. Every school offers what we call an EBAC curriculum, your English, math, science,
yes.
History or geography, and the language. What extras does that school offer? Okay. I do a lot of work in mentoring our students. We get people from the City of London, Canary Wharf, coming in from a young age, giving them that impression that growing up in a inner city over crisis situation should not be a barrier for you to go and work in Canary Wharf or the City of London. So we've got dozens of students who are, studying at top universities as we speak now, some in the medical fields. A number of them have now gone into degree apprenticeship, which is a great route unless you want to go into something like medicine where you need the degree.
Yes.
You can go into a degree apprenticeship. Your employer will pay you a salary and pay for your degree, and you will probably be, about 70 to 80,000 pounds better off, right? Without the student loan, as well as in that time earn probably another £100,000 plus. So it's a no-brainer, and we could see that a lot of our students have taken advantage of what we offer in terms of, when I was young, I didn't sit next to somebody who's got a degree. I didn't sit next to anybody who's got a good job. We met a lot of people who work in factories, who worked in restaurants, who worked in taxi. Some of them ran their own little businesses. But to be able to see somebody with vision, drive, and then to be able to guide those kids and say, actually, you can do the same. That's really powerful.
No, of course, it's very powerful. And of course, I know the students that are at the academy will be so, so happy to see you on the show today. If there is a message that you could give your young self, going back a few years, what would you say to your young self if you could change anything?
Right, I did a lot of things. I was involved in lots of sports. I ran a number of football teams, played badminton at a very high level, including university and league. I sometimes tried to bite a lot more than I could chew.
Sure, yeah.
Have I made mistakes? Yes, I have. Maybe I went into headship too early. I should have probably spent more time with my two boys as they were growing up. Now they don't need me, they just need money, that's it. So there are regrets. So I'll say to people, get a work-life balance right. Yes, it's okay to dream big, and if you want to dream big and go far in life, you must be committed to that. The successful people in the world don't sleep for 12 hours. No. They wake up early. They have, a plan for the day, and they try their best to stick to that plan and make sure that they surround themselves with the right people who will guide them, who will support them, and they can bounce ideas and look for the next project, and that's how they grow.
Of course. And what is the future for the London Enterprise Academy?
Right. So this is our 10th year.
Yes.
I want this institution to stay, whether I'm here or not. It doesn't matter. We've said something here. We've delivered excellent results again this year, and the local schools are looking. How does he do this, and how does he invest all this money on these children? We do far more trips and visits than anybody else. Every child gets a chance to do Deco of Edinburgh. We send kids overseas.
Amazing.
We've been to Spain a few times, Brussels. Since lockdown, we've done quite a few Isle of Wight. I've got trips planned for Bangladesh and France and Spain for this academic year.
Yes.
And all our children are investing a lot of time in the community, not just networking, but taking, I call it social baccalaureate, giving back to the community, raising money for charities, keeping the streets clean, supporting the food bank, supporting the clothes bank, because these are important values. It's not just about academic achievement.
No, I agree.
You have to have the social development, and you have to develop the emotional side of the children as well.
No, of course, I agree. But thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.